651-3439.
Do it! Just do it!
Now, with Locked In, here's Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
Well, we got a few things to discuss today, that's for darn sure.
And you don't think you're goody two shoes, and you say for darn sure.
Goody two shoes is pejorative.
Dog, I'm messing with you.
If it is as simple as not drinking and not smoking makes you a goody two shoes, then I suppose by that definition, yes, I am. I can't really run from it.
I was about to say I don't smoke either, so.
But you do drink
Every now and then, a little bit.
Under what circumstances?
Social, can I say?
Fair.
Yeah. I don't drink by myself.
So you're half a goody one shoe, you might say.
Sure, we can go with that. I don't
Oh man.
know. It honestly depends on what your barometer is.
Reformed Homer hit the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line. Hey, did you hear Gundy got fired? Yes, I know Reformed Homer is tongue-in-cheek with that text. But yes, that's the big news of the day. Mike Gundy is out at Oklahoma State. And my goodness, folks, listen, I have to say this. I try to make myself as accessible as possible to like my DMs are open. If you DM me, odds are I will respond. If you shoot me a message on ouinsider.com, I'll certainly respond. I try to make myself as accessible as possible, but you people must understand I am on the radio 3 hours a day talking about subjects such as these. So when I get like 40 DMs in the span of 10 minutes after Kaden Jones decommits, just know it won't be long before I address the situation publicly. All right? So we're going to talk about that. We'll talk about the offer, a new offer going out to a brand new in-state target in the 2026 class. And we'll unravel many other prominent Oklahoma recruiting storylines right now, of which there are quite a few throughout the show here on Locked In. 405-651-3439 is the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line if you would like to chime in. And the show is brought to you today and every day by Dorsey Jones GMC in El Reno. If you are in the market for a new vehicle, why not try out GMC? GMC offers some of the most reliable trucks and SUVs on the road today, and Dorsey Jones not only can offer you a smoking deal on a brand new vehicle, but they can offer you fantastic service for your current vehicle, including half-price oil changes on Saturdays. So make the drive out to El Reno and give them a try. All right, Grayson, let's get started first and foremost with what we know. What is concretely available information as opposed to the hypotheticals of will Oklahoma pursue this guy or that guy or this guy or that guy. We'll get to that in good time. First and foremost, we know today that Oklahoma has finally extended an offer to Norman North offensive tackle Daniel McMorris.
Yep.
The agenda paid off. We talked for months and months and months on this here show about Daniel McMorris and about how many folks, including Lane Johnson, were pushing behind the scenes for the OU staff to throw the offer Daniel McMorris's way. And as of this afternoon, he has the offer in hand. He has the opportunity to be an Oklahoma Sooner. I thought it was really cool. The photo that he attached in announcing his offer was a photo of Lane Johnson, who, again, I want to reaffirm, has been instrumental in creating this opportunity for Daniel McMorris. Now, here's what ought to be known about this situation. I find it very, very hard to believe that Daniel McMorris does not wind up in Oklahoma's class. This is the offer he's been waiting on. I don't think it's a secret. I think he's committed to the Sooners very expeditiously here. But you may ask, and many have, why did Oklahoma choose to offer McMorris now? Why did this happen now? Why September 23rd, 2025, when they've been flirting with offering McMorris for 8 months now and have had so many natural junctures at which to do so, but have never actually followed through and pulled the trigger? Here's the answer, as well as I can articulate it. Oklahoma has been in search of an offensive tackle, a second offensive tackle in the class to join Deacon Schmidt for some time. They do not believe, as of now, that Vlad Diakonov, the 4-star USC commit, is going to back off his pledge to the Trojans. That was an avenue that they explored for a time. In recent days, the name that had emerged was Johnny Jones, the 4-star Floridian who had been committed to UCLA and decommitted the day of Deshaun Foster's firing. But what I had long said about Daniel McMorris and about Xavier Okafuleze, I mean, those were the two guys we were advocating for within state lines, more so than any others on this show. Those are the two guys that for the longest time did not have OU offers, but we still talked about them a ton because we believed they were OU good. And the fact that Okafuleze is now committed to Oklahoma and McMorris now has the opportunity to commit to Oklahoma, which I believe he will jump on, is evidence that those evaluations were accurate. But for the longest time, what I've proclaimed about both McMorris and Okafuleze is that the Oklahoma staff had to see them as the best available option to fill a spot in the class, not just the most convenient option. So what Oklahoma did was when Xavier Okafuleze went for 11, 236, and 3 touchdowns in the first game of his senior year, the Sooners brought him down to campus 2 days later for a visit. They got some official measurements on him. He checked in at 6'4 plus and close to 200 pounds, 198. And they decided, okay, the measurables match with the tape. We think there's incredible potential here. We're going to pull the trigger. They did. Okafuleze was committed within 48 hours. With McMorris, they've taken their time. They've been intentional here. And I think they've known all along that it ultimately didn't really matter when they offered McMorris because this has kind of been the goal. This has been the dream for him, to play at the University of Oklahoma. So you were afforded the luxury of being able to be patient. That was the approach that Oklahoma could take. They could slow play this. And so, as I understand it, in recent days, with the knowledge that you're not going to be able to sway Diakonov from USC, the decision that the Oklahoma front office and staff collectively came to was that Daniel McMorris was a higher ceiling option than Johnny Jones, and the Oklahoma tackle room is in a good enough place to where they can wait for McMorris to develop, because that's the big thing, right, is he's underweight right now. He's about 260 pounds.
Yes.
6'6 plus, but he's only 260. They're going to have to pack more mass on him. He's not a year 1 guy. He's probably not a year 2 guy either. But year 3 and beyond, the ceiling is astronomical, and that's what Oklahoma sees with Daniel McMorris. They see him not for who he is right now, but for who he can be, and they believe in who he can be more than they believe in who Johnny Jones can be. And so the focus has shifted. They have slowed their pursuit of Johnny Jones, and they've decided we're going to go get Daniel McMorris.
Very interesting. I could also, let me give you some background on Daniel McMorris' season thus far, too.
Please.
As I cover Norman North for KREF Sports TV for this company. He's looked really good. He has looked really good, and one of the most impressive things about him to me that stood out through the first 3 games is he is such a great run blocker. Whether it is whether it's manning that left tackle and blocking on that side or pulling. He's been excellent in space, getting a hat on somebody, and springing a really good running game that the Timberwolves have had the last couple of weeks. Everywhere you look in terms of where there's an explosive in the running game, Daniel McMorris has been involved one way or another. And he's dominating the people he should dominate. So he checks off a lot of boxes. The other thing that's impressive to me, and those of you that are on high school sports in Oklahoma Twitter may have noticed that Nash Henry threw for 419 and 4 touchdowns this past weekend. 2 to Mason James, 2 to Ben Kolar. He was also not sacked. And not only was he not sacked, he was rarely touched. And Daniel McMorris was a huge, huge part of it. I mean, I talked to Nash actually this morning, and he told me, he's like, yeah, no, like, he's been excellent. So, pass blocking, run blocking, he's held down his business. Like you said, the weight is a concern right now. He has to get bigger in order to play offensive line in the SEC. But this is a dude, to me, that I know after talking to a certain somebody that's going to remain nameless, that he was going to wait on this offer. You should expect him to commit, and it's okay if it's going to take him 2 to 3 years to show something impactful on the field, because he ain't going nowhere. He's going to be locked in with Oklahoma for all 4 years. He's an Oklahoma kid that's been waiting on this. If it would take an act of God or something unforeseen for Daniel McMorris to lead the program. So he's going to be in there, develop under Bill Bedenvoe for a couple years, and then we'll see once the weight gets up what can happen with him.
I love it, man. I love it.
It's a cool story.
It's a really fun story, and it's really fun to watch a kid like this get the opportunity that he's been waiting on. I mean, this is somebody that it can't do you harm as a program to bring this guy in. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Especially on the offensive line, you have guys that don't work out every single year. And so it's no skin off anybody's nose if Daniel McMorris doesn't work out. But if he does, if this thing hits the way that the OU staff can believes that it can hit, you are looking at a dude that could be a high-round NFL draft pick one day because of the athletic tools that he brings to the table. And he's going to have the coaching. We know this. If it is OU for Daniel McMorris, and again, we have every reason to think that it will be, he's going to have the coaching. He's going to have the S&C. He's going to be able to get where he needs to go as a football player to start for Oklahoma, you would presume, and to give himself a shot to go play in the league. As long as he buys in. And that's ultimately what ties it all together. That's the hinge that it all swings on.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to buy in. He has to embrace tough coaching. He has to embrace the challenges that lie before him, both in terms of physical development and technical seasoning. And you trust a guy like this to do it. You trust a guy who's grown up in the shadow of the Palace on the Prairie to buy in.
Yeah, I mean, especially given his mindset through his recruitment, too, is that this is what he's been waiting for. So you can imagine that when you finally get something that you've been waiting for, what you're going to do? You're going to try to keep it, right? And you're going to try to do as much with it as you can. So, yeah, again, he's 6'6", 260, so he's got good height, needs to get a little bit bigger, and obviously different people carry weight differently, so we'll have to see about that. He is a project, like we've alluded to. He is a project, but he's got some really cool raw tools that you can develop, and that project becomes something really cool.
Michael and Marlo wants to know, how does the 30-day portal window work when a coach is fired during the season? Well, if you're asking about Oklahoma State, the portal window opens immediately today for Oklahoma State players for the next 30 days. So, now that we've broached the topic of Oklahoma State, let's hit a bit of an early break here because there's a lot to discuss regarding Oklahoma State's class and what Oklahoma may do with some of the dudes that are very quickly going to either already have or very soon will announce their decommitments from Oklahoma State. So, how heavily will OU be involved with some of the pledges, some of the erstwhile pledges to the Oklahoma State Cowboys?
The what? The erstwhile?
Yes.
I've never heard that in my life.
It's a word. I applied it correctly.
I believe you. I believe you.
How will Oklahoma go about the situation with guys like Kaden Jones, guys like Braden Presley, guys like Taj Overton. Let's dive into that next and answer all of your questions therein on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line. Much more to come here on Locked In. You're listening to The Ref, the home of Sooner fans.
Sound off any time of day on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line at 405-651-3439. Knippelmeyer Chevrolet in Blanchard, USA.
After a car crash, life can be hard. You're hurt, stressed, and then, when you need help the most, the insurance company doesn't care.
They drag their feet, question your injuries, and make things difficult. They put profits over people.
At McIntyre Law, we level the playing field. We take on the billion-dollar insurance companies so you can focus on what matters, getting your life back. Call us at 405-777-7000. You deserve better.
This is Mark Van Hoos, owner of Van Hoos Fence. Van Hoos Fence has years of experience and proven superior performance, kind of like a certain head ball coach.
We know Van Hoos Fence offers the best value and service for your residential, commercial, or sports fencing needs. Whether it's a new install or repair work, let Mark and his team at Van Hoos Fence be your trusted resource.
Call us today at 405-735-1167.
Save yourself from Googling it up. Go to vhfence.com. They will work with you in a great way.
Hey, it's Mike Steele here for my friend Gary and the great staff at Cabins Group. After all the rain in the spring and now with temperatures on the rise, you might have a problem with mold growing in your home or business. Let the staff at Cabins help you before it becomes a major issue. Don't forget, Cabins can help you with water emergencies and biohazard cleanup 24 hours a day. Call Cabins today at 405-573-3048 or visit them online at cavinsgroup.com.
Feeling stuck in your current home? Now is the best time to make a move. Home Creations is making home ownership more affordable with low interest rate opportunities and special financing. Don't wait. Live like a champion today. Call Holly at 405-364-9999 to find your dream home.
364-9999 means Home Creations.
Life is yours to spend. Spend it making more money. Spend it making more memories. Spend it learning a new skill. Spend it teaching an old trick. Spend it career climbing. Spend it mountain climbing. First United Bank. Spend life wisely.
It's a September to remember here at Seth Wadley Chevy GMC in Pauls Valley. Well, at Seth Wadley Chevy GMC, you'll remember the downright good small-town people you'll talk to with some big city selection. Remember, you can get 2.9% for 72 months on new 2025 Chevy Silverados and take $10,500 off new 2025 GMC Sierra Denali. You'll remember the small-town country people you'll deal with an entire lot full of new Chevy and GMC trucks. And remember that no one gives you more money for your trade-in than we do here at Pauls Valley. Seth Wadley Chevy GMC always has people remember the A-plus service they get here in Pauls Valley. Oklahomans never forget a promise.
That's my promise of oil changes and engines for life on newer used gas or diesel at no additional cost to you.
So come get you a new pickup at Seth Wadley Chevy GMC, I-35, exit 72, Pauls Valley, or click SethWadleyGMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
GMC stock number 394-220. Chevy stock number CH293-662.
CallBrianSmith.com is your 24/7 access to the best car and home insurance in Oklahoma. We specialize in making the process simple, fast, and affordable while still keeping that trusted local touch. Ready to save money on your coverage needs? Call BrianSmith.com at 918-481-7283 or visit us on Facebook and tune into our podcast, Get Canceled, on iTunes or Spotify. Call BrianSmith.com, your easy button for insurance in Oklahoma.
Locked In rolls on. Here on a Tuesday, Parker Thune, Grayson, Singleton. So we discussed Daniel McMorris, newest offer for Oklahoma in the 2026 cycle, 3-star offensive tackle at Norman North, just down the road. good odds he winds up in the class. Also good odds that Oklahoma winds up with 3-star wide receiver Braden Allen from Lafayette, Louisiana, who was on an official visit this past weekend. And I don't want to take it to the bank, but things look good with Jacob Curry, the 4-star linebacker, from St. Augustine, Florida, who also took an official visit over the weekend. Ohio State's going to get a crack at him. Auburn's going to get a crack at him. Why would he feel the need to see Auburn when OU just whooped Auburn right in front of him on Saturday, huh?
I feel like whooped is a little bit of a stretch.
It is a little bit of a stretch, but OU did defeat Auburn on Saturday with Jacob Curry in the stands. And there are some family ties to Oklahoma, as we've discussed. Oklahoma's placed a high priority, high emphasis on bringing Jacob Curry home as a member of the 26 class. Can they hold off the Buckeyes? Can they hold off Auburn? We will see. Right now, there's a good, solid, comfortable sense of confidence from the OU side that he is going to wind up in the class. So, he would join Heath Ozida as the only scholarship Gingers at the University of Oklahoma, if indeed he committed to the Sooners. We shall see. I saw him in person over the weekend. The ginger locks are excellent. He's got good hair.
I'm going to sit this one out.
Why is that?
You can go ahead and you can talk about his hair. That's all
405
right.
listener
Do you
says,
actually keep track of how many gingers are on the team?
It's real easy to keep track, man. Heath Ozide is the only one. I mean, think about it.
I mean, sure.
Think about it. Do a quick scan of the roster in your mind's eye. There's not another ginger there.
No,
it's
not
just
really.
Heath Ozida.
No, not really.
A 405 listener says, tell Stephen A. Traber to shut up. Needs to worry about his poverty pokes. Sir, you're texting the wrong station here. But we are going to talk about the poverty pokes here, indirectly, because the Sooners may very well be involved.
That's a hell of a segue.
The Sooners may very well be involved with a player that just decommitted from Oklahoma State in the last hour or so after Mike Gundy's firing. And that, of course, is OU legacy recruit Kaden Jones. 4-star running back out of Jenks, Oklahoma, son of Kewan Jones. I'm going to be interested to see what happens here, Grayson, because here's what I've been told regarding the 3 Oklahoma State pledges, or in some cases, erstwhile pledges, that Oklahoma had offered and pursued. Those being Braden Presley, Taj Overton, and Kaden Jones. Oklahoma's not going to go on Taj Overton, to the best of my knowledge. It's not really something they're inclined to do. They like their defensive tackle class. They're not going to make a spot for that kid. He had his chance. He chose Oklahoma State. No hard feelings, but Oklahoma's not going to circle back with Taj Overton. I've also been told the interest in re-engaging with Braden Presley is not terribly high. See, that's a little bit surprising to me because Oklahoma only has 1 cornerback commit in the class, and I really like Braden Presley as a player.
Especially with his size.
But the OU front office, evidently, not as high on him. The one guy that they may get involved with, though, the one guy that they may find a spot for, would be Kaden Jones. Because as it stands, Oklahoma has only 1 running back commit into Zephan Walker. And I don't want to make this sound like it's a certainty that there's even going to be any traction here. I mean, the kid's been decommitted for an hour, right? And he and Oklahoma hadn't been in touch for months. He committed to Oklahoma State back in April, if memory serves me correctly. It might even have been late March. It was in the spring. So that relationship has been dormant for quite a while. But if Kaden Jones were to have any interest in Oklahoma, given where Oklahoma's backfield is right now, given the state of that current picture in the Oklahoma backfield, I get the sense that Oklahoma, if the situation and the price is right, would be willing to open up a spot for a second running back. Because you got to think about it this way. Jay Knott's done at the end of the year, one way or another. This was a one-year rental.
Yeah,
everybody knew it.
Yeah.
He's out. Javonte Barnes is also out. He graduates. Frankly, Grayson, what are the odds that you keep both Xavier Robinson and Taylor Tatum at this point?
10%, if that?
Not high at all. 10% might be generous, honestly.
Exactly.
With Torrey Blaylock's emergence, it would be more surprising than not if both of those guys were around next year. Far more surprising than not. It's a pretty safe bet at least one is going to transfer.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be shocked if it's both. That wouldn't shock me.
So, you're going to need to reload in the backfield.
Mm-hmm.
You have one commit into Zephan Walker, and that's a guy that I think is college ready, a guy that can give you contribution from the jump. Maybe not be what Torrey Blaylock has been to this point, but he can be a rotational cog in the backfield, even as a true freshman. And Kaden Jones, say what you will about him. Say what you will about Keywan. I know people on the text line have feelings about Keywan. Kaden Jones can play some ball, man.
You think?
That dude can run the rock.
Yeah. I mean, and sturdy lower frame, shifty as all get out, versatile as all get out. I mean, the dude can play. You can put him in any scheme and he'll succeed. You run him between the tackles, run him off tackle, throw him the ball out of the backfield. Kaden Jones is excellent. And is there in the 2026 class, because I don't believe there is, but correct me if I'm wrong, is there a player in Oklahoma rated higher than him?
That's a good question. Is it? I thought Overton was the number one prospect.
Was it Overton?
If it's not Overton, it's Jaden O'Neal. Kaden Jones is top 5.
Okay, let's take Jaden O'Neal out of it because he just got here.
Fair. I mean, the three guys that have been kind of head and shoulders above the crowd in that regard for a while are Kaden Jones, Mason James, and Taj Overton.
Mason
right?
James,
those
Mason
are kind
James
of the
might
big
be.
three.
Mason James might be ahead of him, but I mean, if you're Kaden Jones, you're a top 5 player in the state, deservedly so. I think it would behoove the Sooners to at least kick the tires on it. Now, Kansas was the one that finished second for him, so obviously you have to take that into consideration. But I'd re-engage and I'd push for it because, like you mentioned, they got to reload. And the last running back that you got out of the portal this year, for whatever reason, hasn't really worked out. So why not go for something more organic and more homegrown and not try to reload through the portal?
A listener in Missouri says, I live in Raymore and Zephan Walker will never play at OU. Not a high-level D1 kid. I watch him weekly. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, that might be one we have to agree to disagree on.
I guess we'll see. Now, one question that has been asked by a litany of listeners on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line is, what about the transfer portal? What about guys that might choose to transfer from Oklahoma State? Would Oklahoma have any interest in those guys? And not only those guys, but guys that are currently in the provisional portal from UCLA and Virginia Tech, etc. Will Oklahoma go after any of those guys? As it pertains to Oklahoma State specifically, my question is, have you seen that roster?
Yeah, tell me somebody on that team that you want.
Yeah, who would you want from that Oklahoma State roster right now? It's a bad roster.
It's a terrible roster.
And here's what you must keep in mind. Right now, if we're talking about high major P4 teams, UCLA, Virginia Tech, Oklahoma State, those are the only 3 schools at which you will find players in a provisional portal right now because their head coach has been fired. So you are limited to those 3 schools. And because you are limited to those 3 schools, and because it is still September, there is really no reason for Oklahoma to seriously pursue a player from UCLA, a player from Virginia Tech, or a player from Oklahoma State unless they are absolutely convinced that the following criteria are met. There's someone that will actually play and contribute at the University of Oklahoma. They play a position that will be a position of need this coming offseason for Oklahoma, and a position where they will need to welcome a transfer addition. They'll need somebody with experience. And you're not going to ruffle any feathers amongst your current players by pursuing XYZ, whoever the individual may be, mid-season while you're actively playing games. So when you have a very small pool of players, and frankly not a ton of talent in that pool when we're looking at the respective rosters of UCLA, Virginia Tech, and Oklahoma State, who have combined for, 2 wins this year? There's no real reason for Oklahoma to go make moves in the portal. Because at the end of the season, you will have a portal pool that consists of transfers from 135 other FBS institutions, not to mention guys that are ready to level up from the FCS and D2 ranks as well. We also don't really know right now what Oklahoma's needs are and will be at season's end, because it's a much different conversation if there were an obvious area of weakness on this OU roster. But Grayson, can you point to an obviously weak position group right now at OU? I mean, the answer that might make the most sense is tight end, because Jaron Canick's graduating.
Yeah.
But again, why would you limit yourself to tight ends from UCLA and or Oklahoma State and or Virginia Tech when the pool is going to be way broader come season's end?
Yeah, there's no reason to, and there's been a couple of people on the text line that have offered some Oklahoma State players. Caleb from the 580 says Terrell Davis, who was a transfer in from UCO, who we talked about over the summer. Terrell Davis has 7 catches for $115. He has not been that fantastic. He really hasn't.
Oklahoma might have gotten a better UCO transfer.
Grayson
Miller.
Might have. Grayson Miller looks like the best punter in the damn country right now.
Imagine if I'd said in February, yeah, Oklahoma didn't get Terrell Davis, but Grayson Miller's better anyway.
Somebody also, Kylan Brokenbow, says Rodney Fields Jr. Rodney Fields, yes, he's good, but then you talk about ruffling people's feathers. That backfield kind of already, while it may not be in disarray,
there are some feathers already ruffled.
There's already feathers that are ruffled in that backfield.
I can go ahead and say that.
You don't really need to add him. By the way, Rodney Fields is the RB1 over Caleb Hicks, too, at Oklahoma State.
Yeah, Rodney Fields is good, man.
Rodney Fields is a good player.
I think that's a guy that's going to stick around. Just knowing his background and his family connections to Oklahoma State, I think he'll probably stick around, though, too.
There is another player, Wendell Gregory, who makes this whole thing interesting. And the reason I bring up Wendell Gregory is because he's a pass-rushing linebacker, kind of an edge guy, 6'3", 255. Marvin Jones Jr. is done after this year. I'm correct about that, right?
You are correct.
R. Mason Thomas likely is done after this year. Now, you've got a lot of guys or will likely go to the NFL, Parker. Now, you've got a lot of guys coming up. You got something?
I spoke too soon, or did I?
Would you?
No. I'm right. You're right. Marvin Jones is done at the end of the year.
Okay.
I had to think back.
So you have those two done. I thought I had my information right.
Yeah, no.
So bringing in Wendell Gregory maybe in the fall portal definitely would be something of interest. But there's nobody on Oklahoma State's roster that fits the criteria you laid out. And going and grabbing a running back probably might be the worst idea ever, given the current situation.
Tyler from Kellyville says, I would want Caleb Hicks and Gavin Freeman. Oh, wait. Man,
has Gavin Freeman made an impact?
I love Gavin Freeman as a human being, man. Hope it works out for him there. But that looks like a really bad business decision that he made last spring, because if he had stuck around at Oklahoma, he would have played a ton last year. He would have played a ton. I don't know about 2025. I imagine what he'd done in 2024 would probably have had major implications as to his role in 2025. But, man, he would have seen the field a lot last year for Oklahoma at receiver.
Yeah.
And as I understood it, that was the primary concern from his camp when he made the decision to transfer was, how many snaps am I going to get at Oklahoma? He would have gotten a lot of them last year. Brad from Mustang says, Zane Flores couldn't even play Jimmy Greenbeans at OU. Oh, I can't figure out the Zane Flores thing, man, because he set every record there was to set back in my home state of Nebraska at the high school level and looked great doing it in the process. And it just it has not worked at Oklahoma State.
Tattoo Baker, who I have ignored intentionally for the last couple of days, says, "Shut your mouth, Grayson." What did I do to you,
Oh,
sir?
Tattoo Baker's always out of pocket.
I know he is.
Always.
What did he tell me yesterday that I also intentionally ignored? Grayson, please take a walk. I can't remember what we were talking about.
I don't know. You were saying some things in the first segment. I think about the game that Tattoo Baker and others were kind of coming after you for. I can't remember what those things were.
I don't either.
A 580 listener says, "We don't play flag football, therefore no reason to take transfers from Oklahoma State's roster." Tyson from Stigler wants to know, can those Oklahoma State guys come straight over and play this year? I mean, the common sense answer is no, but I guess in this day and age, I have no idea anymore. Like, if somebody wanted to transfer midseason, couldn't they just sue the NCAA and get an emergency injunction? Like, because that's just what happens these days.
Yeah.
Like, somebody wants something, somebody wants an exemption, they just sue the NCAA, get an emergency injunction, and then everything's fine and dandy, and they can do what they want.
SMU just added a running back that transferred in from Tulane, and he's expected to play on the other side of their bye week.
Did he already play for Tulane this season?
I need to double-check that because I don't know. But it's weird that they just added him, and they're like, yep, he's going to be a special teams contributor. I'm like, okay. We're a third of the way through the season, but cool.
Hey, some guys are just getting started a third of the way into the season. Shout out to Eli Bowen, Giovanni Gibson, and, hey, who knows, maybe Jaden Ott, too. All right.
The amount of ways we can go back to that conversation.
Okay, folks, on the other side, got a very interesting text on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line from A-Train that I think will spur an intriguing line of discourse. So I want to start with A-Train's text on the other side. Keep it here on the Ref, the home of Sooner fans, and we'll be back.
This is the Ref Sports Radio Network.
At Armstrong Bank, your business isn't just business to us, it's personal. Our bankers are invested in your success, and we're ready to build a relationship that lasts. You deserve a strong financial partner by your side. Together, we can help make your business even stronger with products and services designed for your convenience. To learn more, visit a location near you or visit armstrong.bank. Armstrong Bank. Strength runs in our family. Member FDIC.
Drive in the fall event at Seth Wiley Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram in Pauls Valley for September to remember. First, we're going to give you over-market value for your trade. From now until the end of the month, get a new 2025 Ram Light Duty at 0% interest for 72 months and 2026 Ram Light Duties at 0% interest for 60 months. And remember, we have a huge selection of new Jeep and gas Rams, all priced to sell during the September to Remember drive into fall event. Oh, and if you have any challenges, just ask for me, Joseph Dabrowski, General Manager, to help your visit be one of the best you'll have anywhere. And there's always peace of mind when you can get to school on time with Seth spending over $24 million and counting on a promise. Tell him, Seth.
That's my promise of oil changes and engines for life on newer used gas or diesel at no additional cost to you.
So get to the store with more at Seth Wiley Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram I-35 exit 72 in Pauls Valley or click SethWileyDodge.com.
0% APR for 60 months on all 2026 Ram 1500s excludes RHOs. Must finance with Stellantis operating September 30th, 2025.
Hey Sooners, I'm OU alum and Boyd Street Ventures founder James Spann. Some players are just built different, and so are some companies. At Boyd Street Ventures, we find under-the-radar Oklahoma companies with the drive, grit, and talent to win big. Our portfolio is growing fast, and so is our investor interest. Fund 1 closes December 31st, so don't wait. To learn more, visit BoydStreetVentures.com. That's BoydStreetVentures.com. Under the radar, above the crowd.
You say you'd never give in to a meltdown and never fill your feed with kid photos. You say you'd never put a pacifier in your mouth to clean it and never let them run wild through the grocery store. So when you say you'd never let them get into a car without you there, no, it can happen. 1 in 4 hot car deaths happen when a kid gets into an unlocked car and can't get out. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
My name is Matthew Troutman, and I am a member of the University of Oklahoma golf team. I know golf, but I turned to the experts at Mitchell's Jewelry when it came time to pick out the perfect engagement ring. The team at Mitchell's Jewelry welcomed me like family from start to finish. They met all my custom ring needs and at an affordable price. I couldn't have asked for a better experience. Mitchell's Jewelry is truly where Oklahoma gets engaged. Go see them at their store in Norman at 2201 West Main and follow them on Instagram at Mitchell's Jewelry.
Illicit fentanyl is the deadliest drug threat that our nation has ever experienced. It has killed hundreds of thousands. Many of its victims didn't even know they were getting fentanyl. Such a tragedy. This is Robert De Niro. One of those tragic deaths was my beautiful grandson, Leo. He was just 19 years old. Fentanyl doesn't care, but you do. Join us in the fight against fentanyl. Find us online at ladrfoundation.org.
All right, I'll pay off the tease right from the jump here. It's a really interesting text from A-Train on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line at 405-651-3439. And a very good question therein. He asked, is Ben Arbuckle going to stick around? He already told a recruit that he couldn't be 100% sure he would be here next year. First off, if that is true, if Ben Arbuckle has indeed told a recruit that he's not 100% sure that he'll be here next year, first off, that's just honesty. That's just transparency. Can any coach in this day and age be 100% sure that they're going to be employed by their current institution, whether by their choice or otherwise, the following season? No. I mean, shoot. Grayson, I'm not 100% sure I'll be hosting this radio show next year. I'm 99.9% sure, but who knows? I might have a slip of the tongue and get the station embroiled in an FCC scandal. Who the heck knows?
Well, depending on what word it is, I might stand up for you.
But no, I'd like to back to your question there, A-Train. That's also not the first time that an OU coordinator has communicated that to a recruit. There are two stories I want to tell here. Two stories. Two very different stories. Back in the fall of 2016, or it might have been the summer of 2016, when then Oklahoma offensive coordinator Lincoln Muleshoe Riley was recruiting Casey Thompson, who was right down the road at Newcastle. I can't recall whether he was at Southmoore or Newcastle at the time. One of those schools. He played at both. Casey Thompson and his father, Charles, asked Lincoln Riley if he could commit to staying at the University of Oklahoma for the entirety of Casey's collegiate career. Riley, truthfully, said no. That was a large portion of the reason why Casey Thompson and his family made the decision that he was going to commit to the University of Texas. And he went and played at Texas for the first 4 years of his college career. 3 years. 4 years? Yeah, 4 years. He played 7 years of college football, which is nuts. In 2021, then Oklahoma head coach Lincoln Riley proclaimed to numerous recruits over the course of that cycle that he fully intended to be at Oklahoma long term. He had no desire nor any intent to go anywhere else, and that if they committed to the University of Oklahoma, they could bet on having coaching stability for the long run. And we know what happened months later in November.
Jesus.
So again, I mean, that just goes to show you loyalties in the realm of coaching and opportunities in the realm of coaching. They're very fickle. They come and go. And can you be certain, if you're a recruit, that the coach you commit to is going to be the coach for whom you play out the entirety of your collegiate career? No. Shoot, think about some of the guys. Think of some of Oklahoma's best football players right now. R. Mason Thomas is one of the rare few. He was recruited by Miguel Chavis. He will finish his collegiate career having played for no one but Miguel Chavis. You know who recruited Robert Spears Jennings? Alex Grinch. You know who recruited Gentry Williams?
That was Alex Grinch.
Roy Manning.
Oh, that's right.
Roy freaking Manning. That's just a couple examples. But, I mean, look, the brutal reality of having Ben Arbuckle as your offensive coordinator at the University of Oklahoma is that he is not going to be around forever. And in all actuality, he may not be around very long. Is there a chance he is a head coach by December? Absolutely there is, and you would be naive to think otherwise. There's a very good chance Ben Arbuckle is a head coach by December. However, what I can tell you about Arbuckle's methodology and his mindset is, for one thing, he is very thankful to be the offensive coordinator at the University of Oklahoma. This is a dream job for him. And he does not intend to move on for just any head coaching job. It would have to be the right head coaching job. And for where he is, having just turned 30 years old, he does not have to rush anything. He is miles ahead of the curve right now as far as the trajectory of his coaching career. He may very well have the opportunity to be a head coach at age 30 in a few months. But I can say, based on reliably sourced conversations, that, for instance, he has absolutely no interest in the UCLA job. Oklahoma State, that's a bit of a different conversation. In talking to a few folks that would know, even before Gundy was fired, I was told, yeah, you know what? If Oklahoma State contacted Arbuckle, he'd think about it. He wouldn't shut himself off to the possibility. I have long said, I think best case scenario, Ben Arbuckle is your offensive coordinator for 3, maybe 4 years. That is the absolute best case scenario. He is not going to be at Oklahoma any longer than that. Nor should he. If his offenses are the types of offenses statistically, scoring-wise, in the realm of production, if his offenses are what the standard at the University of Oklahoma is, there's no reason he should still be around 4 years from now. By that time, bigger and better opportunities should have abounded for him. And they will. So, to answer your question, A-Train, can we be sure Arbuckle is around next year? No, you can't be sure. I'll tell you this much. He's not bouncing on Oklahoma to go be the head coach at somewhere like UCLA, where he's going to have to scrounge together a staff on a minimal budget, have very little NIL coin to offer to his roster. Like, it has to be the right situation. And who's to say the right situation comes Ben Arbuckle's way this offseason in particular? It might be another year, it might be another 2 years, it might be another 3 years before what he considers to be the right situation comes into play. Bo Bentley is counting on Ben Arbuckle being around next season. Most all of Oklahoma's offensive commits are counting on Ben Arbuckle being around next season. All of the offensive skill position players and QBs that Oklahoma is developing relationships with and recruiting in the 2027 class, they're all operating under the impression that Ben Arbuckle will be on Oklahoma's staff in 2026 and beyond until there is concrete reason to think otherwise. You will see Ben Arbuckle's name on pretty much every single hot board. It's shown up on the UCLA hot board. It's shown up on the Oklahoma State hot board. I don't know if it's shown up on any Virginia Tech hot boards, but, that feels like kind of a square peg round hole thing in the ACC.
But it will show up on Florida's if and when Billy Napier gets fired.
I actually don't think it will.
Why not?
Because Florida's going to swing bigger.
Ooh.
The names I've heard for Florida, I mentioned this a couple hours ago. This tells you how big Florida is thinking with their next hire, and they will be making a new head coaching hire because Billy Napier is not making it through the year. Lane Kiffin.
Right.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Another name I've heard, Marcus Freeman.
Really?
I want to take a swing at Marcus Freeman, according to what I've been told. Eli Drinkwitz, he's in the conversation. Rhett Lashley, they're talking about Rhett Lashley. I don't see any reason why Rhett Lashley would or should leave SMU. But that's another name that's going to come up in pretty much every single major hot board for a major vacancy.
Can I ask this question? Since today is a day where a long-time coach has been let go of a program that's kind of falling down the steep end, what if Dabo Swinney's time in Clemson has run out after this year? What if those sides say, you know what, maybe we can go a different direction from each other?
I think Dabo's done coaching.
Really?
Yep.
You don't think he is somewhat interested in the Florida job?
I kind of think it's the same conversation we're having right now with Gundy, right? Where your legacy is secure.
I think Gundy is obvious he's done coaching.
Yeah, I mean, your legacy is secure. You've made enough money. You can walk away content with what you accomplished at your longtime employer, and you can ride off into the sunset, especially given that both Gundy and Swinney have expressed repeatedly their displeasure with where college football is headed and the current state of affairs with the sport. Glenn from Nashville says, Parker, you read my mind. If Arbuckle is selective, he will be here next year. If he's just willing to take whatever head coaching job is offered to him, then who knows? And yeah, again, he's not a guy that is inclined to take whatever head coaching job is offered to him, nor should he be because he's 30 years old. He's not rushing anything. Flizzle says, let's say Arbuckle is gone, then who do we pursue? We'll have that conversation if and when Arbuckle is gone, or when we have concrete reason to believe that he will be. It's September. The man's been OC at Oklahoma for 4 games. We will not know who any of these institutions are hiring as their next head coach for another 2 months at least, in all likelihood. Tim from Nebraska says, only guarantee is taxes and death. Mark in Blanchard says, could Arbuckle be being groomed for the next head coach at OU? He could be, and I certainly think that if things continue to go the way that they've gone, Ben Arbuckle, whether he's still around when Oklahoma's making their next head coaching hire or not, he's going to be one of the first calls. But the idea of him being groomed to be the next head coach at OU, I think there are too many Lincoln Riley parallels there for folks to get too comfortable with that hypothetical. And I understand that. Gunny Stutzman always says, he better find a dang run game quick then.
And I know we don't have all the time in the world to completely broach that topic, but that was my thought. And the offense has looked good and improved under Ben Arbuckle. Has it looked that great to where, and I know there's more to it than just what is your product like on the field? It's personality, age, that sort of thing. But would the offense that they've put on display so far warrant, yeah, this dude's going to be a head coach immediately 1 year after taking the job as an OC at Oklahoma?
Yeah. Arbuckle, he's got the right demeanor. He's got a head coaching demeanor. Like, it's very, very obvious
he will
why
be,
he's showing up on all these hot boards. And it's not
he
just
will
because
be
his
a head
offense
coach.
is-
He will be a head coach. I don't know if it will be after this year, though. Maybe it could, especially if the offense dramatically improves and Oklahoma goes somewhere.
Justin, formerly Yoda, says, Arbuckle takes the Oklahoma State job and nabs Bentley. Would be a complete disaster for the University of Oklahoma. I don't think Bo Bentley is ever going to be playing college football at Oklahoma State unless he has a legendary crash out at the University of Oklahoma. The likes of, I don't know. Was Austin Kendall even a crash out? Did he come in with that high of expectations surrounding his career? Folks, we can talk a lot more seriously about a world beyond Ben Arbuckle's tenure at the University of Oklahoma, when there is reason to believe that Ben Arbuckle's tenure at the University of Oklahoma is coming to an end. For now, just enjoy the fact that he's your offensive coordinator, because he's doing a great job so far. Okay, folks, we're done on this Tuesday here on Locked In. For Grayson Singleton, I am Parker Thune, and we will see you again tomorrow. Same time, same place. Don't go anywhere here on The Ref. The Rush is coming up next with Tyler and Ted. Keep it here.